Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. Today's video we're going to be discussing Bitcoin, and to discuss Bitcoin and this Fibonacci channel that we've got outlined here, and our targets that are raised to $200,000 to $300,000, we have to discuss a little bit of context, and we also have to go back to 2024, where we was discussing a previous Fibonacci channel that we first used in September 2024, and then later in the year in 2024 to get the end of cycle completion formation. Later on, we analysed the fact that we would probably expect one more extension into that 120,000 region. Now, this tweet was back in April 2025. And we got that push up to 120,000, and we have collapsed from there in price. There we are, 126, 125,000, all the way down to 55,000, 56,000, 57,000. Different exchanges will have different prices, but I want to go through now the thesis that I believe Bitcoin is about to start its next bull market. If you go back into my channel about 3 or 4 months ago, we analysed what we wanted to see in terms of a Bitcoin bottom, and I think we've pretty much just about seen everything now that we wanted to see in a Bitcoin bottom, and the sentiment in the cryptocurrency market has been absolutely pushed to the limits. In terms of relevance and in terms of worldwide interest in Bitcoin right now, we are at historic lows. That 25 level really tends to be the big level that we get in terms of accumulation before big massive moves to the upside. So I'm not saying now, guys, that we're going to go back to 100 interest right here right now. We probably will go through a phase of moving back up to around 30 and 40, and that's where we start to begin to develop waves to the upside. And in terms of waves to the upside, as with the downside, we always see them psychological moves. We always get 1, 2, 3 psychological moves, and then the manipulation. We get it to the upside, and we get it to the downside. You see here, guys, we got range 1, we got range 2, we got range 3, where we drew this, and then we got the manipulation above right here for the collapse to the downside, in which case we got the first mini range, range 1, range 2, range 3, with what we're getting now in terms of manipulation below the range. Right at one of our key Fibonacci levels, right at a big psychological number, a nice big $50,000 to $60,000 level for Bitcoin. The 2.618 on the trend on this Fibonacci channel that we've got, also aligning with the 3 daily RSI coming back to the historical low levels. We've got the bullish divergence just exactly as we did in 2022. We've got that exactly right now, also coinciding with a historic low level in that mid 20 region for the interest across the world in Bitcoin itself. So in my opinion, guys, a risk to reward right now in terms of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market in general is absolutely in our favor. So I think in terms of waves developing to the upside, I see a potential blow-off parabola being built here. It's going to take a little bit of time, and it's going to take us time to get back to 1450 and then drop back down in interest. But I think in terms of waves, guys, we have to see a retest on the 3 daily time frame here of this trend line anyway. And I think if we can start to see some follow through, that should just about push us into that $90,000 to $92,000 region, where we probably will get some kind of rejection back down to this level. And the key in strength is going to be in this pullback on the RSI. How do we pull back? Do we just set some kind of running flat or expanding flat into that 3.618 Fibonacci extension that we've got drawn here, and that becomes our first psychological range of the next move to the upside, and then we push on and really start retesting them highs into that 100,000 psychological level. We know this level is going to be a big significant level, because when the market gets to big psychological numbers, it manipulates above and below that psychological number at least 30, 40, 50 times on the lower time frame. Probably on the weekly time frame, you'll probably see that about 6 or 7 times. You can go back in history and have a look at them psychological levels, guys, that get manipulated above and below just to wash traders out. But this is when we should start to see that retest of that trend line again on that 3-daily RSI, and I think this is when we'll probably start to get some kind of breakthrough as the market retests its all-time highs and heads on up into around the $180,000 region is what I'm anticipating here, and I think that's when we start to set our third psychological range in and around that $180,000 region, and we should see the RSI really start to push on. At this point in the wave, I wouldn't expect any bearish divergences to be developing, because in terms of targets, guys, I am targeting the upper bound range of these psychological, these Fibonacci numbers, special Fibonacci numbers on the Fib channel that we've got here. We've got the 6.85 and the 11.09. Now the numbers you see here are not the targets. We have to look in terms of time frames as to when we think this is going to happen, and I think around the 2028 2029 level is going to be a nice key region for a market cycle top. So in terms of waves, we'd expect maybe a big rejection from this level, and then as the market continues to the upside like this, we should then start to see the developing bearish divergences on the RSI right here on the 3-daily time frame. So this is the way I see the market panning out at the moment. In terms of interest in the market, we're at historic lows. We know this is where accumulation happens. We use the exact same Fibonacci channel to outline the top of Bitcoin in 2024, 2025 at that $120,000 region. This was the exact post that we said the end of cycle completion, this type of formation would be what we want to see. And like you see guys, that was in 2024. And we had a couple of replies down here saying, when do we see the 120,000, 180,000 range being hit this cycle or next? Well, the 120,000 range did get hit this cycle. We came down, and just now, as everybody is beginning to accept that maybe this is a bear market, we're seeing the ends of a bear market right here. We're seeing the beginnings of a bull market. Not only do we have the Fibonacci confluence, we have the Google Trends confluence, we have the confluence of the analysis that we wanted to see in 2024 play out as a market cycle top. Yes, we didn't get the alt season that we all wanted. Yes, maybe we could have taken a little bit more profit on some of the alts that we expected to go higher. We're not going to get everything right every single cycle, guys. Nobody is. We can just play the cycles as they go on. But this is the kind of market cycle that I want to see play out next, where we get the first range, the second range. So that would be the first psychological range, the second psychological range, the third psychological range. Now the third psychological range tends to be the most aggressive, it tends to be the most choppy. It can wash people in and out before the final move to the upside. Every single time, guys, the third psychological range is the one that we see the biggest moves come from. So you're going to have the biggest correction. You're going to probably have about a 30 or 40% correction from here. You see a 30% correction brings you all the way back down to 130, a 40% correction, or even 50 maybe brings you back to the 4.236 retest of this Fibonacci channel that we've got here. All we need to see is the clues given to us on that 3-daily RSI. I've spoke of the importance of the 3-daily RSI many times in our videos. The confidence I have here for the cryptocurrency market to recover is very high, simply because we have all of the confluence of the rest of the market as well, our total market cap analysis that we do on the Patreon, the market cap analysis that we do on the Bitcoin dominance in the Patreon as well. We'll have so much confluence here for this market cycle to play out next. Not only that, we also have a wick-to-wick trend line here where we'd want to see some kind of overthrow, retest and expansion. I'm seeing everything here as a beginning of a bull market, not the end of a bull market. So If you need a bit of context, please go back and watch our videos from 2022, where we had all of the same signs, the range manipulations, the true ranges, the psychological ranges, the RSI clues, and the wave clues. We had all of this exact same structure happening in 2022, and that's why we was able to outline the top in 2024 and 2025 before the big crash happened. I'm not saying we cannot get one more low down here, guys, and just spike it, because again, the market can do what it wants. But in terms of risk to reward right now, even now, after this move from 57 to 63, it's a minuscule move in terms of market cycles. So in terms of positioning, I think right now in the market, you can set up a good trade idea on a couple of altcoins. You can start accumulating spot positions as well on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum is absolutely going to be one of those that I think will outperform in the market as well. So what I'm about to do right now is I'm about to record a video for the Patreon that will be released in the next few days, and that is going to be covering specifically Ethereum and a couple of other altcoins that I think are going to outperform Bitcoin in and around when these waves happen. Yes, there will be outperformance for Bitcoin, the dominance rising back up, but I believe this cycle is when we do get that retail retention. We get retail returning back to the market, and we probably end up seeing all of this action here in terms of interest in the cryptocurrency market as a very small scale in the future as the market continues and develops to the upside. So I'm thinking, as the market goes on, these highs and these lows are going to develop into a more mature asset class. We're going to get interest back into the cryptocurrency market as the market moves to the upside. But as all of the people like you and me that have stuck around in these times when it's hard to stick around, I think we will be rewarded very, very nicely as the market moves back to the upside. So a very quick, simple video here, guys, explaining why I think the beginning of the bull market is actually beginning. And we're not just starting a bear market, we are beginning a bull market, and we're looking for the evidence to suggest that we're looking for the psychological ranges now to come to fruition, because in terms of psychology, people right here are going to expect this to just maybe be in terms of an Elliott wave, a free wave move, and just more lows to come. Every single time we see the same thing happen in that first psychological range, right here everyone was calling the same. Everyone was saying, yeah, maybe that's just a free wave, this is just going to be manipulation again, going for low lows. But the market expands, people don't believe the move by the time a big correction comes, then everyone believes the move up here, and that's where the fourth psychological manipulation takes place, because everyone recognizes the trend. Number one, number two, number three. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the human brain can only recognize trends after three patterns. And at this point, everyone believes they are a genius because everyone's entering here and they believe that they're a genius and they need it to go higher. Just as on the way to the downside, guys, we've had range 1, range 2, range 3. Bears now believe they are geniuses. Even with any more spikes to the downside, they're going to believe they're a genius and that they should be continuing to sell and continuing to short. So this is my thesis, guys. We've been around a long, long time, many cycles now, and we use the same clues every single time. We keep it simple, and we'll be doing more detailed analysis on Ethereum in the Patreon coming up in the next few days. So sit back, relax, let the market do the work. It's not financial advice. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.